Hello, this is the assignment brief for delivery of healthcare, the second unit, if you're doing the distance learning. I just want you to talk you through the two parts of the assignment brief, and I think you'll also find it helpful. I've given you examples of what you must email me and also the kind of thing you must submit to Turnitin. Okay, so let's start with part one. Basically, you can all read, but you have to produce a PowerPoint presentation and additional notes to accompany each slide on that PowerPoint presentation. The PowerPoint presentation should be around 10 slides. Now you may think that's not very much, but the additional notes allow you to add more details for each slide. The slides themselves should just be summaries, bullet points of your main points. Basically part one of the presentation is, for want of a better phrase, a history of the NHS. Okay, so your presentation in this example, this student has provided 10 slides, and as you shall see, each slide takes you through the various stages in the development of the NHS. So here the 1960s, 70s, 80s, etc. Now this is just an example. Maybe some more details could be added to some of these slides, but it's just to show you. Now once you've done this, try and include some graphics. It's always good for your presentation. You should email me this PowerPoint presentation. So you email me when you've done your presentation. Okay. Now, what do you submit to Turnitin? So, for part one, you would submit the following. Always your declaration signed, and if you can just check that box there as well, and dated. So underneath them, we have part one. Now this should be an outline of your presentation and the additional notes. So this student, so slides 1 and 2, this is just an introduction. There are no additional notes with this, it's just a sort of start of the presentation. At this point, for slide 3, the student has copied the text from their slide 3 and put it into the Word document. They've also, and you'll be graded on this, given some additional notes here that accompany slide 3 on their presentation. And so on. Slide 4, they've copied the text into the Word document and given some additional notes to accompany that slide. And we go through slide 5, slide 6 and its additional notes, slide 7, additional notes, slide 8. I think you've seen the pattern here. So this is what is placed into a Word document. So your cover page, then your outline of your presentation, which is the text from the actual PowerPoint, plus for each slide, if necessary, additional notes. So that has to be placed into a Word document. Okay. At this point, we can move on to part 2. This is an essay which discusses and evaluates the current and future provision of NHS services. So you're talking about the state of the NHS now, okay, and what's going to happen to it, you think, in the future. Now, as part of the debate about the current state of the NHS, you need to compare the idea of state, so publicly funded free provision, and private healthcare, which is, some would argue, the way the NHS is going. So give the advantages and disadvantages of each. Then the second part of your essay, you need to evaluate how future demographic changes, so an ageing population for one, increased immigration, a second major area, can explain these challenges that the NHS will face, and there may be political approaches to these. So this is an essay. So part 2, your essay should be around 1,500 words, plus or minus 10%. If it's significantly less, it will be incomplete and you'll have to resubmit. If it's significantly more, that's not as bad as being less, but I will have to ask you to cut it down to within the parameters. This is a key academic skill. It wouldn't be fair, for instance, for me to grade somebody who'd wrote 5,000 words in the same way as somebody who'd stuck to the 1,500 words. Okay, so you would write your essay, and in the same document as all the text and outline of the slides from your part 1 presentation, you would place your essay. Here we are, part 2. So same document as part 1, you place your essay. So the example, and I will send you these examples, both of this document and the PowerPoint presentation. These are not by any means perfect. There's problems with them, there's problems with the referencing, but it's just to show you the layout of what I expect. For instance, there I've noted that the referencing is not correct, so please don't think that that is the way to do it. So that basically gives you an outline of what I'd expect you to email me, the PowerPoint presentation, and also what I want you to submit on Turnitin, which is basically your cover sheet, the outline of your slides, plus additional notes for each slide if necessary, and then part 2, that's where you put your essay. All of this needs to be submitted on Turnitin by the deadline. Okay, so hopefully that's answered a few questions. I may have scrolled through these documents a little quickly, but I will also email you the 2 example documents. Okay.